Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to CERT India. Welcome to the webcast on Belbin for performance management. This is the TeamCast of CERT India, the Belbin expert, and the regional representative India and Sri Lanka. As part of the Belbin Knowledge Series, to help individuals and organizations leverage the power of Belbin. This is part of our service, is part of our commitment, is part of our passion to communicate the power of the wonderful concept, philosophy, and the tool, the Belbin team roles. All right. CERT India is the center of excellence for remarkable teams. Let's begin the webinar. Let's begin the TeamCast. I would ask you to turn off your videos and turn off your mics, keep them on mute. And we're going to use the chat box. I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm going to ask you to send in those answers in your chat box. Let's make it engaging. Let's make it interactive. Let's make it powerful. I'm going to help you to really do all those things very effectively. So my name is Ravi, and I look after CERT India. And let's begin the webinar, Belbin for performance management. Thank you very much for the opportunity to add value to you. Let's begin with a lovely question. What are the challenges we face while managing the performance of people? I'm sure some of you are team leaders, and some of you are managing teams and set of people. Some of you are working with a leader, and I'm sure this is a familiar question that pops up in your mind. What are the challenges we face while managing the performance of people? This TeamCast will take about 45 minutes time, so we're going to have a lovely journey of the next 45 minutes. All right? Okay, so open and your fastest fingers first, and start using your thumbs or index fingers or whatever you want on your mobiles or desktops or iPads or tablets, whatever. What are the challenges we face when they perform? All right, 30 seconds, start. John has replied lovely already, blind spots. All right, you can reply to everyone actually, so that it can be really like a real classroom, but we are virtually present. That's the only difference. Personal behavior. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, you're really stolen the lovely thunder. I'm going to help you on that further. Aligning people with organization objectives. Sure. I mean, ethical nuance of reporting officer. Wow, that's really a value system principles. Some more. We still have a few seconds to go. Comparison, Kumar Krishnamurti. I think that looks like the only Kumar Krishnamurti I know. All right, comparison. Okay, who else? Lack of leadership commitment. Oh, yes, absolutely. Sometimes you see it's so evident, isn't it true? Absolutely. Ownership of the people in terms of taking responsibility. Vijay Gomes, yes, Vijay, I think I've seen you a couple of times here as well. Subjectivity, yes, bias sips in nicely. All right, Shaina Mehta talks about initiative. Some people just don't seem to take the initiative. Isn't it true? That's what the manager all the time feels. I wish my people take more initiative. Vision of end result, the final goal that may not be visible. All right, just another 3 seconds. Anybody else who wants to just send in the stuff there? Okay, feedback. Okay, the right feedback or the absence of feedback. I mean, both can work well, Madhura, right? Absolutely true. Oh, yes, I think some lovely stuff has come. Executive presence of the manager, Abdul Razak. Yes, sure. Mutual trust. Oh, it's a lovely topic. Mutual trust. It takes time to build the trust, time to demonstrate the trust as well. Okay, I think some very nice things have come. Okay. Right. So always waiting for decisions from the boss. Okay, fantastic. So there's several challenges we face while managing the performance of people. All right, thank you. The last one from Dahlia, reluctance to share the actual performance. Oh yeah, something we just covered it up nicely, or we don't know how to communicate well as well. Okay, great, fantastic. Have you ever wondered, we're given all the resources, we don't seem to have done everything. Why is this person's performance not up to the mark? I'm sure several times you have actually experienced this wonder. Why does it happen? Sometimes feel a little bad. It's just kind of a not such a good mood. We also feel, why does it happen to me? The other guy seems to have all the good people for him. It doesn't seem to be for me. Why does it happen? Happens all the time for us. Isn't it true, guys? All right. Now, we want all our people to perform well. I'm sure every manager, every leader, by and large, there are of course rare exceptions anywhere, but as normal human beings with tremendous positive strengths that we all have, we all want all our people to perform very well because that's what makes our performance outstanding. Right? Can we find some pointers to how can we manage the performance of people? Can Belbin team roles give us some indication? Can it give some kind of a light to show the path for us to say, yeah, this may be a good way to do that? All right. So this TeamCast will focus first on part one, like all the TeamCasts I do, a small, tiny, nice, but a strong foundation of Belbin team roles, very briefly, and then how the Belbin team roles is applicable to this context. How does it actually lend itself very effectively for this particular topic, this particular question, this particular doubt we have in mind, or this particular answer we want to get, which is in this case, managing the performance of people. So part one, Belbin team roles. All right. We all have two roles in our lives. One is a functional role. The other one is a team role. Functional is our job. I mean, probably some people started as an executive L&D. After some time, probably got into a managerial role, or could be a HR function, could be a specialist function, business function, recruitment, compensation. Same thing for non-leaders as well. As somebody becomes a sales executive, after some time becomes an area sales manager. So we all have a functional role, which keeps changing, which definitely has to change, is part of growth, is part of development, is part of a career progression. This is a functional role. There's another role which is internal. Functional role comes to us. Team role comes within us. What is this team role? Team role is a path-breaking discovery of Meredith Belbin, with whom we in CERT India have worked for several years, and I've been fortunate to work with Meredith for over 16 years now. Meredith defines a team role as very beautiful, very simple, is a tendency to behave, contribute, and interrelate with others in a particular way. Look at some lovely words here, tendency. If I quickly ask you in a few seconds, what does the word tendency communicate to you? What does it actually mean to you, the word tendency? What would be your answer? Some 2, 3 chat messages. What does tendency mean? I'm just looking at the screen, waiting for the messages to pop in. Tendency. What does the word tendency mean? All right. Oh, habit. All right. Yes, habit. Once habitual action, attitude. Madhura, you are using a lovely word called attitude. By the end of this TeamCast, that word might slightly change a little bit. Okay. All right. Somebody from iPhone mindset. Approach. Yes, approach. Can I say inclination? A natural preference, a natural inclination. We all have tendency. We like a particular breakfast better. We don't like something. We like a particular vegetable. We don't like some. Using a lovely word called ability. I'm going to come back to that a little later. It might be a little different from the word ability. Just park your lovely answer there. Just hold it there. A tendency to behave. We all behave differently. Some people are quiet. Some people can speak a lot. Some people become friendly with everyone. Some people take decision and then analyze what went wrong. And some people analyze before they take a decision. So people all behave differently. A tendency to behave, a tendency to contribute. Some people contribute. And you got a good friend of yours and talk about something. Hey, why don't we go for a run tomorrow morning, a marathon run tomorrow morning? Forget marathon, even a short run tomorrow morning. Okay, says, yeah, let's go. Okay, do that. So he's contributing to your joy, to your desire to go for a run. The other guy might say, hey, you want to go for a run? Is your leg okay? Have you run before? Have you done some exercises? Are you fit to go? Because if you're not, and if you run, you're going to fall and you're going to break your leg. Oh, come on, yeah. Don't be so negative. I'm not negative. I just want to make sure you don't break your leg because you never run before, you want to run again. That is suddenly not possible. So both are contributing, but we don't see both as contribution. We see one which we like generally as a contribution. What actually meets our needs in our mind, what we like to hear is generally felt as contribution, normal human behavior by and large. So tendency to behave, contribute, and interrelate the way we work with each other, others, in a particular way. That is the real definition of what Dr. Meredith Belbin describes as a team role. We all have team role. Meredith's phenomenal research several years ago discovered that there are 9 team roles. We all have 9 team roles. What are these 9 team roles? Number one is actually they can be put beautifully under 3 buckets. What could be these buckets of team roles? One is task related team roles. The other one is team related team roles. Task is action. The other one is people. And the third one is thing. Just put it in a simple way. It's like the hands and the legs of the body, which is task and action. The brain, which is a thinking side. The heart, which is the emotional side, the physical side. And the task and action related team, the 3 roles that come. Just mute it. Okay. Task and action related team roles. What is a shaper?
होता है लेकिन समझ नहीं आ रहा है खाली से बंद है
All right, can you all hear me now? All right, there was some disturbance. Okay, let's be quick. Okay, what is a task-related team role? A shaper. I mean, look at the symbol beautifully. It's a whip in the hand. Challenging, dynamic, goal-oriented, has drive and courage, prone to provocation, and can be blunt and upset people. A shaper is demanding, challenging, goals are very important, and no way the goals can be compromised, but can be blunt and upset people. That's a shaper. You have an implementer. Look at the beautiful gear system that works in the same way day in and day out and performs the task very effectively. Disciplined, organized, efficient, turns ideas into action. Somewhat inflexible, slow to respond to new ideas and approaches. An implementer is a process-driven guy. Tasks are extremely important for that person. Has a checklist. At the end of the day, if the checklist is completed, the implementer has a lot of joy. Can do repetitive jobs joyfully. An implementer, but very difficult when something new has to be done, something has to be changed, the process has to be modified. Why didn't we do it differently? An implementer, oh come on, why do we have to change? Computer finisher, the symbol is of a spanner. Requires everything to be accurate, conscientious, meticulous, perfectionist. There's nothing like a 95% perfectionism. Either it's perfect or it is imperfect. But because of that, inclined to worry unduly. I wish I could have done it even a little better. I'm still not there in terms of perfection. Cannot delegate easily. So 3 team roles: shaper, implementer, computer finisher. And look at these lovely words we have described: simple, practicable, affable, understandable language. A shaper, goal-driven. An implementer, task and process-driven. A completer, task perfection-driven. 3 different but beautifully under the same bucket of task or action related. See these lovely words, they're all simple behaviors. We demonstrate such a behavior. When you see someone being very focused on making it perfect, you can see, my God, he is so conscientious. When somebody is worried, you can see the worry on the face. When somebody is disciplined, you can see the table, you can see his notebook, you can see his laptop. When somebody is dynamic, you can see the speed, you can see his ability or her ability to work under pressure. So these are lovely behaviors which are visible and seen. That's task. Now let's go to the social related team role, the people side of the team role, the heart expanded into 3 parts. The resource investigator. And the symbol indicates everything. It is really just the phone. It's a good old phone, not the new mobile, but the good old phone. Let me ask you a quick question. Just curious. Tell me, what do you think can be the behavior of a resource investigator? Could you quickly send in a few messages? You can see the phone. I want your imagination to stretch a little bit. I want you to really get involved in this TeamCast. What do you think can be 2 or 3 behaviors which can be visible of a resource investigator? 5 seconds, questioning everything. External connection, Kumar, of course. Talkative, Abdul Razak. Tries to imagine, oh yes, absolutely. Gossip, oh, I like the word gossip. I really thought the gossip life will be terribly boring, Sneglata, isn't it? Socially active, Anupama. Okay, you guys got it bang on. Enthusiastic, communicative, looks at opportunities, develops contacts. I mean, he's an external person. She is an external person. Can connect and quickly establish a conversation very fast with people. Can be rapport building, absolutely true, Murli Seshadri. Over optimistic, can be easily bored and lose interest. They can, it's like a flavor of the man. They can move from vanilla to black currant to mulberry ice cream, whatever. They can do that. Okay, that is a resource investigator. Now, you have a coordinator. You can see the symbol. The coordinator, a symbol. Now, Dalia uses something very interestingly. This is a little bit more applicable to this coordinator. What does a coordinator do? Calm, confident, clarifies goals, and promotes joint decision making. A shape promotes, if I use the word promote, his decision making, her. A shepherd says, do it. A coordinator says, what do you think are the ways we can do it? What do you think about it? A coordinator has the ability to get the best out of people, encourages participation, but without losing sight of his or her own goals, which are very clear. So there is a goal orientation, but the approach to the goal is to the collective ideas, through the collective strengths of the team. That's a coordinator. So resource investigator, coordinator. You have a lovely team worker holding hands. Cooperative, caring, diplomatic, sensitive, avoids friction. It's like a lubricant in an engine. Think about it. We realize the value of a lubricant only when the lubricant is absent. Oh God, the engine is very hard. There's a friction. The engine is stalling. My God, my car is stalling. My motorbike is stalling. Ah, God, we don't have a good lubricant. It's gone. It's over. The beauty or the tragedy of a team worker is the value of a team worker is felt when the team worker is absent. 3 real social people-related team roles. Resource investigator, outgoing, gets ideas from outside. Coordinator steers the team from inside, encourages and gets the best out of people. Team worker maintains that glue, that harmony to make the team align towards feelings and work very effectively as a happy team. 3 different behaviors. Now, the final piece of the 3 more time roles, which is in terms of the thinking side of the brain, the plant. The word plant is a very lovely discovery of Meredith. He or she plants an idea in a team. Plants mean something new, something different, not taking a tree from somewhere and putting it. Your plant is original, creative, imaginative, offers alternate approaches. A plant always invents, wants to invent from within. You ask a plant, what do you think we can do about it? Oh yes, let me think about it. A plant wants to think not in a deep way, but in a freewheeling way. Plant is a free thinking, a lateral thinker, can be out of the box thinker as we call. But plant weakness, preoccupied by thoughts, and therefore may not be communicative. Because a plant is communicating within himself or herself, therefore doesn't communicate so much outside. In the process, a plant's ideas can be lost if not picked up very carefully. And the challenge of a plant is a plant can be a non-conformist because a plant doesn't want to follow the rules, want to follow his or her own original idea. That's a plant. That's the right side of the brain. You have the left side, the monitor evaluator. Can I ask you quickly, give me some 3 or 4 words that will describe a monitor evaluator? Now that's the left side of the brain, and you can see the eye, which is unbiased eye, right in the center, maybe the third eye. Can you give me some 3, 4 words? Third eye, come on. Critics, absolutely. Calculative, yes, analyzes everything. Good one. One or two more words, please. Rational, Rajesh, I think is brilliant. Absolutely. That's a lovely word used. Assessor, AK, always evaluates. Very true. I think you've got some little bias-free, Alamin, I think. Alamin, you can send it to everyone as well, okay? Right, perfect. Okay, great. Logical, analytical, discerning, makes decisions after thinking through. Discerning doesn't simply make a decision. Right, wrong, binary, good, bad, excellent, ugly, that's all. There's nothing in between. Makes decisions based on facts. Facts are important. A plant loves a paintbrush, maybe in a Microsoft app, but whereas motor evaluator loves the Excel. Appears slow moving, lacks drive, and make appear uninspiring. The last guy, which is actually the last one discovered in Metis phenomenal research many years ago, is a specialist. You can see the lovely vernier screw gauge equivalent, single-minded, motivated by the pursuit of knowledge. Deeper and deeper. I mean, you ask a specialist, hey, you've been studying this subject for 5 years. You must be an expert in it. Oh, not really. I have so much more to learn. The more and more I study, the more and more I discover how much more and more I have to learn. That's a part of a specialist, but contributes on a narrow frame, dwells on technicalities. Now, 9 team roles. And one common thing, if you all noticed very nicely, I'm not going to repeat it. I look like the smart guys around there. I just want you to tell me, if I have to ask you to find one common connection between the strengths of each team row, the smiley, and the grin, no, that's not the grin, the other side which is not looking very pleasant. If I had to ask you to do that, do you see a connection between the strengths and the weaknesses of all the team roles? What you see is the connection. There's one common connection between every strength of team role and the corresponding weaknesses. What do you think can that be? Could you just do this quiz a little bit? 5 seconds, 10 seconds maybe? Do you see any connection at all? Sneglata, purpose, okay, all right. That's your talking monitor evaluator. Shine a solution, okay, slow on taking action. I'm not taking only monitor evaluator. You take any team role, do you see a connection between the strengths and the weaknesses? Let me make it a bit easier for you. Okay? All right, let's do one thing. I just want you to think, because you guys are thinking wisely. Let's take the shaper. Do you see connection between the strengths of the shaper and the weaknesses of the shaper? Do you see some connection between the two? Come on. Oh yes, John, I think you did it wonderfully. Absolutely. So I can just clap, just nicely muted clap. Okay, right. Overuse can lead to the weakness. Absolutely. If you look at the para-Belbin team roles, every one of those strengths, when excess, becomes a weakness. Many times when I learned Belbin's decades ago, this was the biggest revelation to me. The challenge in the world all the time is we all think that the strength I have, if you don't have, it becomes your weakness. For example, let's say I'm very creative and somebody reporting to me is not creative. Oh God, he is not creative. Therefore, that is his weakness. That's not true. What is true is that an extreme strength is a weakness. An extreme strength is a weakness. Not what I have, but that someone else doesn't have becomes his or her weakness. That is a revelation. That is an aha moment of looking at how we work with others also. All right. The interesting part of Belbin team roles is all of us have got all the 9 team roles. God, nature, whatever you call, has not been unkind to say that, oh no, I think John will have only 5 team roles, Ravi will have only 3, Pankaj will have only 2, nothing like that. All of us have got all the 9 team roles within each one of us. But some are our natural preferred team roles, which comes to us naturally, our natural preferences. As we said some time ago, the tendencies. Some are our manageable team role. We can work with it. We can do it. We can do it when required. Absolutely. And some are our least preferred team role. Not that we can't do it at all, but we can't. All of us have got our preferred team roles, manageable team role, and least preferred team role. If you look at me as Ravi, and I've been in this business for the last 40 years plus, if you see, I'm a plant resource investigator, coordinator, followed by a shaper specialist. And my least preferred team roles are a computer finisher and a monitor evaluator. That means I'm not naturally driven towards analysis and logic. It does not mean I cannot be logical. It does not mean I can't do a lovely analysis of a business problem you give to me. I can. Therefore, it is not ability, it is about orientation. And when we are the orientation, we tend to use it more often. And unless the ability is demanded, the orientation doesn't push the ability, which is what is life all about. Therefore, we all have our preferred team roles, manageable team roles. So all of us have got all the 9. Typically, the top 3 are the preferred team roles, and the mid 4 are the manageable, and the least are the last 2. So the good news is that all of us have got all the team roles. And what is this team role? As you saw all those lovely words, and the words that lovely came out in, popped in these boxes, are behaviors. Behavior is what? What you see someone saying or someone doing. That's all. What you say and what you do is behavior. What kind of behavior? Aristotle said decades ago, centuries ago, we are what we repeatedly do. As human beings, we have a great ability to observe. Actually, friends, we are constantly observing others. And also worried about how others are observing us. We are what we repeatedly do. Therefore, we can spot repetitive behavior. We can also spot one-off behavior. You know, you are normally very cheerful when you walk into home or briskly walk into home in the evening. One day you go home a little slow, just pop your bag on your sofa, sit a bit reluctantly or a little tiredly. Even if you've got a small kid of 4 years, 5 years, looks at you from a little distance and say, Mama is not all right today. May not even come to Mama. Say, Mama, are you okay? I mean, we can spot one-off behavior. So behavior is what matters when we observe people. We are what we repeatedly do. Question to you is, do behaviors impact performance on the job? 30-second task and chat. Quickly tell me, do behaviors impact performance on the job? If so, yes, how? Can you give me some one or two answers quickly? 30 seconds quickly. Yes, Anu, Arunima, yes. But tell me how. Give me some one or two. How do they impact performance of the job? I'm waiting for some messages to come in. Yes, attitude towards work. Yes, I talked about attitude again. Come back to that, yes. Okay, all right. And many of you using the word attitude. Attitude is nice. I'm going to probably take the wind out of the sail a little later. No? Approach. Okay, all right. Okay. Defines. Okay, right. I think I can say different approach. Yes, you're right. That's beautiful. An excellent manager, because the anger prone can become inefficient for managers. Very true. Very true. Lovely. Right. Because I think Alamin says something nicely. Alamin, you will send a message to everyone, not just to me. I want the good news to go everywhere. Behavior itself is performance. I think it's a beautiful statement. It's a beautiful statement. When you see something on the stage, you watch a film, you watch a theater, what is performance? Performance is what you see, which is behavior. Absolutely. Reluctancy, arrogancy to perform efficiency. Brilliant. So behavior does impact. Absolutely true. Therefore, can we use this for performance on the job? Part 2, Belbin for performance management. All right. What makes people perform well? Quickly, some 30 seconds. What makes people perform well? Right. Pankaj says nicely. Behavior is output of thought and perception. Yeah, very nice. Good one. Motivation. Yeah, the common one that comes all the time first. Interest. Caps. Yes, that's right. Intention. Oh, thanks, Almin. You are sending to everyone now. Lovely. How you manage rewards, passion, Abdul Razak. Oh, yes. Okay. Several things make people perform well. Absolutely. I'm sure there are plenty. Job satisfaction, etc. I'm going to give you just 2 dimensions out of that, which I think are very important. Venkatramana says, love towards a task. iPhone, whoever it is, inspiring goals, intention to perform. Brilliant. Okay, now I just put it up there. The right person for the job and the right way the manager works with that person. That's all. If you got the right guy for the job, or the job is right for him or her, I think the probability of performance is high. Second is, he's got a manager. Most of us are managers. I'm sure unless you're working quietly in the top of Kanchenjunga, otherwise, we all have some managers. We have the manager, how he or she works with that person. These two things make a big impact on the job. And Pankaj, you say nicely, managers don't create value. John, set expectation. Brilliant. So it's all about the way the manager works with that person. All right. So if these two can be done better, at least we have a better way of managing performance, which means a simple way, fit with the job and fit with the manager. When it's a fit with the manager, it's a manager's fit as well. It's not just fit on one side. Fit with the job means it's also the job on fit on the other side. The job fit, the fit with the manager. Two critical elements that make an impact on the performance. Let's spend a few minutes on each one of them. Fit with the job. Now, any job requires two things, friends. Now you're going to learn, probably already know it, but an incredibly powerful tool, concept, idea, which can change the way you look at jobs and people. Any job requires, and I've experienced it over years, using it all the time. Any job requires both eligibility and suitability. Eligibility and suitability. Therefore, jobs to people, people to jobs requires eligibility and suitability. What is eligibility? Can you quickly send a few words? What is eligibility? 30 seconds, no? 15 seconds, quickly. Qualifications, Ravi Sundaram. Yes. Already my education. Venkatramana skill. Oh, Venkatramana, really fantastic. I like the word skill. It doesn't come very often because India is one country where we don't reward skills much. We reward only certificates. Required skills, experience, knowledge, competence, and performance. Okay, lovely one. So eligibility is skills, qualifications, and experience. Very simple. You can add a few more, doesn't matter, but these by and large. Now, the other one is suitability. Can you quickly text what is suitability? What is suitability? Yes. Fitment. Ah, okay. Best match. A little more description. What the hell is this suitability? Okay, Pankaj, attitude, I'm going to come back to the right behavior, suits the person, right person for the right job. Okay, oh, a little bit more. Physical attributes, yeah, depends on, take for military, yes, of course, yes, services. Physical attributes, yeah, possibly a suitable aptitude. Oh, Abdul Razak has got something interesting. Aptitude. Earliest the word attitude came, I said, yeah, but now it's aptitude has come. Aptitude, lovely. Okay, behavioral tendencies, temperament, and aptitude, not attitude. Aptitude. Aptitude is inclination. Aptitude is orientation. Suitability is behavioral tendencies, temperament, and aptitude. And in fact, in our way of working with Belbin team roles for years, with levels of organization, I have a very simple way of describing these two. Eligibility is entry criteria. Suitability is a performance criteria. On the basis of eligibility, you only enter. Performance requires suitability, not just eligibility. Suitability of quality of being right for that particular requirement, right for that requirement. So eligibility and suitability. How do we know what behaviors the job needs? For example, let's take an example. You have, I'll take a simple example, like a simple example. Let's take an example like you want to have a flight attendant, your flight steward, somebody who is serving the meals and other things. In fact, today they don't really do a good job, but otherwise, flight steward. Can you tell me what could be some 3 or 4 behaviors required for a flight steward? Patience, lovely, Shaina, absolutely. Polite, lovely, beautiful, absolutely. Very nice, good. Couple of more as well. Yes, there may be some emergencies possible as well, right? Somebody may not be feeling good, maybe sick a little bit. Yes, empathy, yes. Service orientation, oh yes, you got it already. Caring, yes, caring, helpful. Somebody's trying to lift a little baggage, struggling hard, and instead of waiting and watching, can you do it or not? If you can't do it, let me see what to do. Just go and help. Understanding, super, you already got it. How do you know? Like that, every job requires a certain behaviors. Now that can depend on the job, the company, the context, the industry, everything can change. So it is very specific to that particular job. For example, if you say area sales manager in a very large established organization like Hindustan Unilever, an area sales manager in, let's say, for example, a company which is, let's say, regional based company. I'll take our own example in Bangalore. You have NTR Foods, an area sales manager, NTR Foods, an area sales manager, Hindustan Unilever. The behaviors required may not necessarily be the same. Therefore, there's nothing like one set of behavior required for any job of the same title. Therefore, we need to know the behavior. Now, suppose if you can get a statement like this, how would you view this? You can, I probably can read it, but I'll read it very quickly. Job specification. I'll just read it very fast. The job as it is specified requires someone who has the capacity for drawing the best out of others, an example which we have created, encouraging them to contribute and identify personally with group objectives. Such a person should be able to conduct meetings in a mature fashion and in a way that allows participants to feel satisfied when proceedings have been concluded. The work entails a fair degree of drive and a willingness to face up to occasional opposition, which could be market related as well. On this specification, the ability to organize people outweighs the ability to arrange the way in which the necessary work should be carried out. And there is a very nice job expectation. And if you look at this job expectation, it is not about KPI, it is not about KRA, it is not about qualification. You can see very nicely, even if you consult others, you should never lose control of the situation. The people you work with may need to be directed, or they may need to feel they're working with you as part of a team. They should feel aligned with you. So it's important they should adapt your managerial style accordingly. The job specific expects the overall responsibility to yours and to be discharged in a mature fashion, etc., etc. So you have this lovely description of a job specification and a job expectation, all about behaviors. Now, hey, wait a minute, Ravi. How did they get this sheet? Such this beautiful two statements. How did it come about? I mean, did somebody sit down looking at the sky in the middle of the night and wrote? No. This comes from what we call the Belbin job report. If we have some nice tools to work on, and if you input the right information with a good amount of discussion, it actually gives you what are the team roles which are suitable for this job. If you say here nicely, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, there's no 8 here, is actually absent, 9 team role, it tells you that this particular job of account manager in this company today requires him to be or her to be a coordinator, shaper, and a resource investigator, and not much of a monitor, evaluator, specialist, and an implementer. That means it tells you what are the team roles required for this job. And after that, gives a lovely description, which is below, which I've highlighted in the previous slide. Now, this is a fabulous document to help us recognize what team roles are required for a particular job. And once you do that, all that we need to do that is you match the job needs in terms of job behaviors, and then the individual behavioral strengths of that person, which comes from his or her Belbin team role, and then you do a matching. You don't have to make decisions only on this basis, but it gives you a beautiful insight into job behaviors and the individual behaviors. If both of them have a better match, you are starting on a nice way to ensure that the behavioral requirements for the job are already present in the individual. That means the journey of performance can begin in right earnest as well. Of course, you have eligibility, your skills, qualifications, CV, everything you can do that. But this you can't see, but this you can actually do it very effectively. This helps you to have a fit with the job. And here's a report. If this is head of training requirement in a particular job, and you can see one Mr. Peter Green who is applying for this job, or who is within the company, and after all you recruited him, and suddenly you find Peter Green is not performing very well, you get a little worried, you start making judgment, and then you do this and say, Oh God, this is a qualifications. No, this is a suitability required for head of training. Should be a coordinator, monitor, evaluator, shaper. But Peter Green is a team worker, all right, and a computer finisher. Not so much here. Oh God, that means there is no fit with the job as a person. I can do two things. Find a lovely another opportunity for Peter Green and the performance shoots him, or reshape the job, modify the job, take away some elements of the job and do. Now, fit with the job is a fundamental requirement. Therefore, use the Belbin job report to help predict the performance. I mean, if you actually do it before, you can predict. But if you don't have it, you can at least analyze for performance, underperformance, by doing this in a very nice way. So first is fit with the job, but now fit with the manager. Okay, so fit with the watch and fit with the manager. Now I'm going to ask you, I look like I'm just a smart girl. We're going to ask you a question. Fit with the job is over. Fit with the manager, I've got just a few more information to give you. Do you think using Belbin team roles, we can even do the fit with the manager? If so, how can we do that? Can you just send in your ideas very fast? Because both are important. Fit with the job, fit with the manager. How can you do the fit with the manager? Yes, how can we do that? Anyone can make an attempt here on your chat boxes. Any attempt? Remember, we had a jobs team role profile and the individual's team role profile, and we matched it to find out the fit with the job. So, oh, Ravi Sundaram, you got it. Matching Belbin reporter, manager, and the person. If you can't do the job, okay, absolutely. So, okay, but assessing the manager, decide the manager's fit, etc. Okay, possible. Yes, that's a good one as well. Very true. Is he the right manager for that particular role itself? That's brilliant, Dalia. Yes. Okay. So I think you got some little insights on that. Now that means any job performance depends also on working relationship. I'm not talking of general relationship of having a beer in a pub in the evening. That's fine, but I'm talking of a working relationship. So manager's team role and the reportee's team roles, how do they relate to each other? Is there a match between the two? Because after all, they're two human beings. What are the potential problems that can be there when these two people are working with each other? How will the chemistry be? Those who have gone through chemistry in schools and colleges will know you require a chemistry. Some chemistry, there's a fire. Some chemistry, it beautifully forms a compound. And what advice will be useful to them? I think if you look at it from this angle, here's a lovely example of Joe Kelvin is a manager of Pete Lewis. On the basis, a lovely report, you see how it works. On the basis of the top team roles, this team role combination has the potential to be successful as both see the value of interpersonal communication. Best results will be achieved if Joe Kelvin can fulfill Pete Lewis' need for encouragement and purpose. So Pete requires a constant encouragement and a purpose. And if Joe can understand and provide the context, Pete will jump out of the desk and start working well. Looking at the second team roles, Joe and Pete are likely to make a good working pair, especially in fast-moving situations that will both require a dynamic situation. Joe can provide the discipline and pressure that Pete needs, whereas Pete can think on his feet when required, that we both can work in a very complementary way. Now, how did we get this? Again, presto, here's a report called the working relationship, where both the team roles side by side, the blue being Joe and the red being Pete, gives how their working relationship chemistry will work. So, fit with the job and fit with the working relationship. Identify difficult chemistry and build mutually beneficial working relationship for enhanced performance. The job fits with me beautifully. The manager fits with me beautifully. Come on, why do weekends come? I want to go to the job again. That's the part of performance management. Guys, 6 for the road, 6 nuggets of performance management. Know your people's natural preferences. Understand. Takes time, but it's important to do. And your preferences need not be theirs. We're not talking of ability. We are not talking of attitude. We are talking of behavior, tendency, and natural preferences, inclination. We all have it. I do have it. You have it as well. Focus on their strengths and perfect them rather than working endlessly on the weaknesses, because it's going to be a long journey with no end result ever. Be prepared to reshape the job. Sometimes just removing that one element from the job can make a big change, because that one element was a frustrating element because of the team role match. Learn the principles of complementarity. Diversity, differences can actually work better. Number 5, deep dive into reasons for poor performance. Stop being judgmental, stop being biased, and stop blaming everything on attitudes. My favorite statement after years is, when we don't know something, we use the word attitude. When we know something, it's never attitude, it's aptitude, it's skills, it's so many other factors. Finally, recognize the value of suitability, which is difficult to observe, difficult to measure, but if you do that, and if you can do it well, they can really, really, really get the best performance and manage performance well. At the end of it all, nobody's perfect, but a combination can be. The right job and the person combination, the manager and the individual combination can be an outstanding perfection in terms of performance. So we can transfer the performance of people, we can make Belbin happen. All right, thank you very much, guys. What I would like you to do is possible, if you, before you go, if you can just quickly text one learning out of today's TeamCast, you can just send in that message to me. Hey, this was new to me, I liked it, I enjoyed this, I learned this now. Just one text message very quickly, and then off we go. Have a lovely afternoon. I'm just waiting for your text messages to pop in. Amin wants to have the PowerPoint. Yes. Okay. Now please tell me you are learning. PowerPoint will come. With your goals, eligibility, suitability. Come on, eligibility and suitability. Thank you, Amin. Fruitful session. I want your learning, Amin. I like to hear that. Fantastic. How to access the suitability? Belbin team roles gives you an insight in suitability. Observing the person's behavior gives you, but team role gives you in a very nice format. Yes, I will do everything, but please send me your one learning, one action. Excess of positive becomes negative. That's your learning, Arunima. Fantastic. Beautiful, isn't it true? 9 team roles. 6 nuggets for better than. Better than, I would see that. Methods, I missed it. More details about team roles. Okay, we can. Can you please help with the methods of PMS? Okay. Key aspects on team performance. Yes, 9 related team. Understanding the individual's preference or salary. Usually, it's personally expected to fit a vacancy, Sundaram. You're very right. Thank you. I mean, you love that nuggets. How important is a manager and peer role to coordinate as per the team role is identified? Okay, that's great. That's great learning. All right. Redefining process. Very nice one. Very nice one. Pankaj Bawa. Beautiful. Anyone else? Compare cooperative relationship, Murli. Absolutely true, Murli. 2 roles, functional team. That itself is a big revelation, isn't it true, Kumar? Absolutely. Nobody's perfect, but a combination can be. I think that's what makes life wonderful. Future of work collaborative. Absolutely. Very true. Very true. Does one's Belbin rating change with time? Can change with time based on circumstances. Dramatic changes don't happen unless there are dramatic changes in life. Accept the differences, Venkat. Absolutely. Not silo-based. Brilliant. Advice on performance measurement technique for a medium-sized project organization. If any of you want to get some more information, talk to us about it, want to pick up some ideas, please write to us. You can write to Jaishankar. I will send the email ID right here. Of course, you can do that. Yes. All right. Thank you very much, guys. Have a nice evening. Have a productive day. Take care. Bye-bye.